Okay, so now we are into a two-point perspective. So again, our horizon line somewhere here. I always want to draw with my stylus. That's weird. My regular pencil is hiding on me, like right here. Okay, so we've got the horizon line. Let me straighten it for you guys. There you go. One vanishing point right here, and another vanishing point somewhere here. Okay? This time, we are not going to draw a square which would be the visible side of the cube. We're going to start with one corner. So, below the horizon line, a vertical line, which is going to be the corner. I'm connecting the two vanishing points of the cube, the future cube, with the 2 points, okay? And I'm doing the same with the top of that line. And so let's say this is one of the walls that we see. I'm just kind of making it a little bit stronger so that you can see. And here is going to be the second visible wall of the cube. I'm just going to make it a little bit stronger. That's a good beginning of it, but we don't have the top yet. Okay, so how do we do the top? I'm going to this corner, top left corner, and I connect it with the opposite vanishing point, okay? And then I'm going to the top right corner and connect it with the opposite vanishing point, which is on the left. And here it is. See where the two lines intersected, they have formed the top of the cube. Okay? It's pretty clear. But now, where are the invisible sides of the cube? So, I'm going to the bottom left corner of the cube and connect that with the vanishing point on the opposite side. And my converging lines are dash dash because you don't see them. Only this part is kind of visible, though it's an imaginary line, really, construction line that just helps us figure out the form. And I connected it with the opposite vanishing point. And from here, well, it didn't quite work out. There's hardly any precision in this. So, do you see the invisible sides of the cube? Right here? So that's what it is. The invisible walls of the cube. So, I could do the same with the cube being above the horizon line. So one line here, connect it with the two vanishing points. And here are the vertical walls of my cube. And now I'm going to connect the bottom left corner with the opposite vanishing point and do the same with the bottom right corner connected with the vanishing point on the opposite side. So that has given us the bottom of the cube. Okay, right here. Let me outline the cube. I know it's really crude, but I just want you to see it. Okay? So we are looking at the cube floating above our heads. This is the darker side because, light comes from the top. And the invisible parts of the cube. Okay, so this top left corner has to be connected with the opposite vanishing point. And I'm gonna do the same with the top right corner. And right here, connecting these two with dash, dash, dash. And let me just outline them a little bit thicker so that you can see them. Oh, I shouldn't have done this one in a thicker line. Okay, so these are the invisible sides of the cube. Sorry, this should not have been strong. Okay, so here it is. See the top, which is invisible. This is the back side on the right, and this is the back side on the left. And I could do the same right here in the center, but I'm not going to do it. The next situation is going to be, let me switch pages, it's going to be dividing an area like, let's say you want to paint a street, draw a street with trees or whatever, lampposts. So here is the, here is a lamppost. Kind of here. And this is in 1 point perspective. Okay? I'm connecting the bottom and the top. So my next post is somewhere here, between these two converging lines. And we want to have more of those posts evenly spaced, because we know they are evenly spaced, but they are in perspective. So how do we deal with that? Well, it's a pretty simple thing. Let me show you this part being a part of a square. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay. So I'm gonna draw a square that is 10 little squares long. Okay. And how do we divide a square into equal parts? Well, by drawing diagonals. So I'm drawing one diagonal, another diagonal, and this is the very center of it. Okay? And even this way. And I could divide that into lots of other little squares by always using a diagonal, and that would be like the center of it, and so on. And I could also do a diagonal here of this rectangle, because that would divide that rectangle, which is half of the square, into two even very narrow rectangles. So if I do this, you see the division. Okay, but why did I do all of this? Just to show you that a diagonal is the very line that will help us figure things out in perspective. Because if I put this square in here in perspective, it would probably be somewhere here, right? This line is this line here. That's the corresponding one. So how did I get that? Well, I got it by doing a diagonal which happens to run through the very center of that square. Okay? So I need to figure out the very center line of this. So the center line also meets at the vanishing point. That has divided this half, which is this half right here, okay? And now this diagonal runs through this center point, which is right here. So I start here at the top right corner and draw a diagonal line through this point, which is that. So let's call it A, and here's A1 or whatever. Okay, so where this diagonal intersects the converging line, that's where this point is. And from that point, I'm gonna draw a vertical, which is nothing else but this line. This is the side of that square, which we took and tilted at an angle, and this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in perspective. So when you look at a square face on, these two dimensions are the same. But look at these guys here. This one is much shorter than that, and this one is even shorter than that because of the perspective. But this is what helps us determine the distance between, let's say, posts or lines or trees or whatever they are in perspective. So let's treat this as half a square, and we're going to figure out where the other half of that second square is. So I'm going to go to this point, which is going to be again like this point, and I'm going to take that diagonal through the center of this line that intersects with my converging line, and I just draw a vertical right here, and this is my second post or third post or fourth post or whatever. So here are the posts. I'm kind of making them a little bit thicker and so on. So again, top, diagonal through the center, and here is the next post. Again, going to the top, drawing a line through the center, and here is my next post, and so on and so on. So just kind of keep on drawing those diagonals through the center, not the horizon line. The horizon line is below the center line. And here's another post. Let's do this. Connect the top with a diagonal going through the center of this, and we get the next one, next post. So, and so on and so on. So always a diagonal from the previous post through the center, and a vertical. Here's your next post. Let's keep on going. And as you notice, the distance between each post going towards the vanishing point diminishes, and so does the height of each post. So let me just add on a few more, and you'll see how things are developing here. It's very, very interesting. It's very simple, but very interesting at the same time. And I could keep on going and going. I'm going to do it freehand now. So line, post, line, post, diagonal, post, diagonal, post, diagonal, post, diagonal, post, diagonal, post, diagonal post, diagonal post, and so on and so on. Look at that. Beautiful. If you were to draw a fence or whatever, trees, that's what it is. Okay? So this was one way of dividing an area or figuring out the distance between items that are evenly spaced. So let's look at a different situation. Let me grab another pencil because this one is blunt. So here is my horizon line. Here's my vanishing point. And here is a post. And here's another post. Let's connect the converging lines first. Okay, top, bottom, and my second post is somewhere here. Let's do it here. Okay. So how do we divide it this way without using this method? Well, another method is we divide that post into even spaces. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. I'm gonna draw a dividing, converging line from each one of those points. Okay. Connecting them with the vanishing point. This happened to be the horizon line, which is okay. Doesn't have to be, but it just happened to be. And now, knowing that principle, that you can divide anything, a rectangle or a square, by drawing a diagonal. So this is like a rectangle in perspective. So I'm connecting these two with a diagonal. Okay? Now, having these converging lines crossing the diagonal, they have already determined the points where the verticals are going to intersect. So I kind of made them strong, like big dots. And now I'm going to draw verticals through those points. And see what happens here. Here are my posts. Okay? Okay, I could do something else. I could go to the back and say, okay, there's another little post right there. And I want to divide that area into evenly spaced like post or whatever. So here's again a diagonal points, but you have to treat this as a separate drawing, okay? That is not the continuation of this. No. And here are my posts. Okay? So this part of the drawing is again division into even spaces. Okay. One more situation where a new piece of paper, we want to do something similar but in 2-point perspective. Let's say we want to divide a nice floor into tiles, square tiles. So 2 vanishing points. Okay. My floor is going to be somewhere here. That's the corner of it. One line. Another line. So basically I'm drawing another square in perspective. And I'm trying to determine the size of it. Okay, let's this be the size. Okay? Like this. And let's this be the other side. Okay, so this is a square in perspective. 2-point perspective. Square that is flat on the ground. Okay? Like the bottom of a cube. Bottom of a cube. So what's missing are the verticals. So how do I divide that area into either even like wooden boards or tiles? Well, it's a very, very simple principle. I'm going to the bottom of this square and draw a line, horizontal line. Okay, I'm also going to this converging line and extend it until it meets and intersects with this. So now I have to divide this area into an even distance. So I measured it. I tell you what, centimeters is so much easier. So there's 14 of them. Let's do like 7. So every 2 centimeters, I'm going to put a dot. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and this is 14. Okay, I'm going to connect that vanishing point with each line, with each intersecting point here. Okay, drawing my converging lines. Okay, and you can already see the floorboards growing. See how this one is much wider and each subsequent one is narrower and narrower and narrower. But now, instead of doing the same thing across here, there is an easier way of dividing them, which is the way we were talking about before, using a diagonal, because this is nothing else but a square or a rectangle in perspective. So here's my diagonal, the other diagonal, okay, and that diagonal has crossed the converging lines in these points right here, and all I have to do is connect each of those intersections with the other vanishing point. This is really precision, guys, very important. And that has divided that little square into even spaces. So now we are converting the floorboards into tiles, square tiles. Same number across in both directions. So this is the grid that we got. One tile, another tile here, kind of this way, and so on and so on. See how easy it is? It's just a lot of construction lines, but the division is very simple. So look at the size of this square in perspective compared to that guy. It's insanely different, right? So this is how we do it. Okay, guys, that was it for the moment. Look out for more videos. I'll be producing more. I hope I get the lighting figured out a little bit better. And till next time.